Welcome to Signs and Headlines, whatever episode this is. Thank you for coming back to us. I'm here. I'm Camille. I am with Tasha.
Miss you. I miss you
Yeah, I
guys.
miss you
I
too.
miss
Let's get
this
into it.
format. Honestly, I'm very thankful we did not talk in Jan
Yeah.
because
Well, we did an award season thing, but we didn't like really sit down and grapple with all that was happening that first month. But yeah, February is a good time to just kind of like level set and start again. January did not exist.
generate this balsamic Saturn-Neptune phase
Mm.
right now feels like it is just circling the drain, like
Oof.
bathwater energy, and it's like yuckiness coming up and old stuff coming up. And it's like,
Hmm.
no, but I've like left the tub, but it's still draining. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I just want things to be clean. So I'm very excited for not to say the blank slate, but maybe the bloody slate coming
At least a
September.
new slate. It'll be a new slate. Yeah, coming.
Yeah,
Coming
soon.
Valentine's. Yeah.
Oh my God. I was going to say September, but no, I meant to say Saturn, Neptune. LOL. Mercury's in Pisces, ladies and gentlemen.
We're gonna get where we get. But we will
What?
be hopefully channeling and inspired today. So
Okay, so this week we had a full moon in Leo.
mhm.
So, transit recap of the week. Full moon in Leo last Sunday, which also featured an Aquarius stellium and a stationing Uranus. And this week has been very marked by Uranus. Have you felt that in your life, or like how has that showed up for you?
Yeah, it's in a quiet part of my chart. I have a Taurus 12th house, so it's like the inner awakening. But I was saying before we jump on the call that it's been exciting for me as a Taurus moon to like loosen up the shackles in a way that like feels more free and like getting out of the ruts, getting out of the circly drain thing, right, that we're in. But certainly it's this is my kind of like story within like the macrocosm of like instability that we are going through. And I
Mm.
think we felt that more this week. And I hope as Uranus moves direct and into Gemini, there's more of this like insistence for change. There's more rebellion. There's more of this like direct experience and consumption of disruption for the better. But
Mhm.
we will see. We will see.
Honestly, the full moon in Leo, what I really loved about it was, it coincided with like the Grammys, it like there was
Yeah.
so many typically Leo things that came of it. And then, there were some like real like, oh yeah, this is leadership. This is what's happening in the real world. Like everything just kind of blew up, it felt like,
Yeah.
especially with Hello, the Epstein files that
Hmm.
dropped over the weekend talk about like an explosion or a cultural like implosion. Honestly, I don't even know what we're navigating, but I definitely feel the heaviness of almost like people's awakenings this week,
Hmm.
Like everyone's
Yeah.
kind of realizing, oh, maybe it isn't party line. Maybe they're
No.
all terrible at the top and
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yeah, something that the Leo moon or the Leo full moon will always bring up is like it focuses like people in power, which makes sense for
Hmm.
the Epstein files. But it also makes sense that we saw so many people at the Grammys with their little ice out pins and like speaking about like fuck ice, which is very much like the productive use, I think, of a full moon and like
Hmm.
the moon in Leo being ruled by the sun in Aquarius. So using one's individual like voice, but also heart and courage to speak to a larger thing and calling out their peers to like do the same. So I love that side of it. But the Epstein files kind of revealed what I think is like the shadow, the gravity of Pluto
Hmm.
traveling along with all these planets, albeit slowly. Like, yuck. This is like the shadow or the underbelly or the kind of gunky bathtub edge of what it's like to be in power or these celebrities that we revered. Like, I'm having a hard time with Deepak Chopra. Not that I was a fan of his, like, he
Mm.
gave yuck already, but I just think it's so gross to be a spiritual guru and then to speak about girls like that. I don't know. It's just like,
Yeah.
ah. So we're in
Oh,
the fallout of that. I don't even know where to place it or how to metabolize it yet. Just anger.
God is a construct. Cute girls are not. Like,
Disgusting. Disgusting. Or like cute girls have voices that I don't know, like I don't know. Ugh. Like, did you get me that cute Israeli? I
oh
hated it. It
yeah.
made me like cringe.
It
Um, yeah, and for someone who like literally their entire brand is like getting closer to holiness and connectedness, it's just so typical. Like one side of me is
hmm
like, of course. But another side of me, which is the part of me that's like cares about humanity, is like, why? Why again? Why am I setting myself up to be disappointed by these powerful, disgusting men? Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's funny, right? Because it's Deepak Chopra, it is also a Peter Attia, which frankly,
Mhm.
I did not, I think, know who this person was like that.
I
Like
don't. Who is
And
this?
exactly. And I like looked him up. He's like a longevity influencer. Like someone
Okay.
asked me to look his chart up because I like made that video about Bill Gates and like me using astrology, like this man is denying, but please, 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 symbols are very, very loud.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, this guy created like a protein bar. This guy's like trying to live forever. I don't know. He's like one of these like modern wellness guru types, and
Like a
he
Brian
literally
Johnson. Yeah.
totally, totally. And he's like, people are categorizing him in like, like the Mel Robbins, like
Hmm.
that type of crew, because she's like getting into protein now too. And so, like,
Hmm.
again, you think about like the Virgo Pisces axis, it's very interesting in this space, especially since Neptune just left Pisces. So the veils, like, there's no smoke and mirror, I guess.
Yeah, it's like Neptune in Pisces was like the rise of the cultural popularity around the guru or like spiritual people, like claiming to help in some kind of way. But the South Node in Virgo, there was a word that was coming to mind or a phrase that was coming to mind that I just lost. But it's like there's no substance there. It's just kind
Mm,
of like
processed sugar.
yeah, it's like a processed sugar version of health or wellness or spirituality. It's so fucking grifters is the word that I wanted to
Mm.
call to mind. A lot of grifters and a lot of charlatans, I think, will be like the masks will be ripped off Scooby-Doo style. Like, oh, underneath of that was just a charlatan or a
Yeah.
grifter. I think we will have lower tolerance for that.
Yeah.
I think as
And
Neptune is in Aries. Yeah.
I was gonna say because Saturn is still in Pisces for like I don't know, like not like less than 9 days at this point, which
Mhm.
is like crazy. Not to say I don't know what to make of this time, but do you feel like people are still operating under that type of lens, like that type of, I'm a spiritual authority, but like actually fake. And like there's a lot of like calling out the other right now, especially as we're closing it out. Like I kind of just feel like there's a lot of heightened defenses going up, and everyone
Ah.
is like accusing everyone
I
of
haven't seen much of
something.
that.
Oh my
Yeah, but
God.
it would make sense, of course, very crabs in the barrel. Like we can't all be taken down. So let me just like make sure you get your shot and I get my shot and I maybe yeah, that tracks for Saturn at a Pisces degree, trying to reaccumulate or kind of like re-put together one's reputation or legacy. And I think it's funny that it's happening to people, like men having,
Mm,
on the Epstein list and all of that. But yeah, people in power are kind of like scrambling to kind of keep that power. But the guard
hmm
is changing, right? When Saturn enters Aries and Neptune with Aries at that 0 degree point, we're in a different echelon of like who we want to hear from and who's in charge and what we elevate as important. The fog will
hmm
be gone. It's still kind of there, but it'll dissipate like the more and more we enter this Aries era.
And for what it's worth, we do have like Mercury retrograde in Pisces
Ugh,
coming up, which
yeah.
retro shade is starting next week. And so it is like very encore coded, right? Now we're clear Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, but we are going back for one
Yeah, it
more
feels like
retracing.
what did you learn? Like really kind of incorporating whatever it is that you learned for the people listening, whatever that 3 year journey was for you with Saturn there. But
Mhm.
also likely in the media, news items and things dropping, right? That kind of reinforce the messiness and the chaos of like, we're trying to reorganize ourselves around power. And I think Mercury in retrograde is going to add a little bit more sauce to that.
What do you make of this year's Black History Month also featuring the Saturn and Neptune in Aries conjunction? I mean, and
Yeah, I didn't think
because
of that. Yeah.
Because obviously, through our conversations, you've talked a lot
Mm.
about Neptune and the Black experience, but then also, we've entertained the idea of minority rising in this Neptune era. But I just, it must be so profound. I feel like Saturn and Neptune coming in Black History Month. And we'll pull up the Black History Month chart as well,
Yeah,
because
that's
you've
kind of what
done.
yeah, that's how I wanted to anchor into it. So
Mhm.
Black History Month, it was founded during a Aquarius stellium, which is kind of what we're going through right now in the sky with Pluto also in Aquarius. So it feels like there's something very urgent or pivotal, no going back, right, about maybe this period of time, especially with Black History Month. But I also think about, Saturn as the traditional ruler of Aquarius and Saturn in the sky at this 29 degree mark, right, hitting at some kind of crisis or cultural dissolve. I also kind of see it as the exhaustion of Black voices around like, we fucking told you this. We were screaming about this forever. And now that, white people have died, whatever, it's like reached this cultural like level of crisis. But when we were talking about it, it's like, what? So I feel
Hmm.
that out of Saturn 29 Pisces, like the existential exhaustion of being Black right now. But
Hmm.
then when it enters, right, this new era or this new area of Aries, areas, whatever, when it enters this new
Uh-huh.
threshold, there is kind of like a resurgence or a re-empowering or reorientation of how like collectively Black people are going to work with these increasingly like outwardly racist times as people who have this has been our experience kind of since time immemorial. But it gives empowerment from that Aries lens, especially with Neptune being there, like not being defeated or rising up or being centered. But there's also a quality of Saturn being detriment in Aries. And so it
Mm.
makes me kind of question what will be like the systemic response to the collective. Like, can our insistence as a culture actually change something? And like, what will it look like to get that off the ground? I think we're going to have a little bit of a wobbly start with Neptune and Aries and Neptune right next to, sorry, Saturn and Aries and Saturn right next to Neptune. There's some
Mm.
uncertainty, but I think people are fired up and tired.
I really love that. And I think it is also interesting when looking at where Saturn and Neptune falls in this chart or how it affects, the Black History Month chart. Saturn and Neptune is forming a sextile to Jupiter. So when you think about Jupiter, more confidence in the room. So hopefully this month potentially could
Yeah.
inspire in a
Yeah.
way.
I think of
Mhm.
Jupiter also as like significance and like
Mm.
Pluto in the sky hitting on that Jupiter. It's going to be the first of the Black History Month stellium that it'll hit while we're in this Aquarius buildup. So yeah, it does kind of give like something's being blown up or kind of brought up or amplified in some way. But with
Hmm.
Jupiter in charge of that, maybe it can be something that's like empowering or for the better.
Honestly, I love that you pulled up the chart. Like it's on your Instagram. The carousels, the
Yes.
visuals are amazing.
Thanks.
I forget, did you mention anything about like the Chiron return of the Black
Girl, I'm
History
just
Month?
seeing that now. I
I
like
know.
toggle on and off with like what I have displayed on my Astrogold, and honestly, I could just get into a rabbit hole and like, oh, I totally forgot to put in the notes or Chiron. So no, I'm just now seeing that, and that feels significant. I want to formulate something though, but what do you feel about it?
Yeah. There's this thing that's coming to mind, right? And maybe this is to tie it in also with what you said about the Black existential crisis at this moment in time in terms of the emotional overwhelm and how to process and
Yeah.
navigate this situation. And when I think about a Chiron return, there is this idea of if I like were to talk to a woman in menopause going through their Chiron return, I'd be like, you don't have to hold so many things. You can put some things down because you've like graduated into elder status and other people can do the
Ah,
heavy lifting. And you've like had so much wisdom that you've had to learn through caring so much that that wisdom
yeah.
has to become leadership now so that
Yeah.
you can teach another generation or others to hold as much as you have. And so there's something about obviously the amount of work and labor that the Black community has done in educating and trying to progress, social movements forward in this country. And I think I saw somewhere someone talking about a matriarch rising and
Mhm.
the idea that if you want to think about who the natural leaders of that type of movement would be, it would be Black women. And so
Mhm.
I just thought it was really profound to see that symbolism there. But again, I don't, that's my perspective, but I would obviously
I think
love to
that's
hear
beautiful. Yeah, I
your
think mapping it
perspective.
on to like the journey of a woman and like where we would be at our Chiron return is a beautiful way of like, yeah, we're just in this place where we're exhausted and we can't use our energy in the same way. Yeah, and as you were talking to add on to that, it just felt like Chiron return is like the resurgence of a very old wound.
Mm,
And Black History Month, like the reason it was founded was to remember, right? It was to remember the contributions that Black people had made to American society, to see how much we had progressed since slavery. So there is kind of this Chiron return reckoning of like, well, how much have we progressed? Or again, like a resurgence of this pain around identity or like the right to exist that I
mhm.
think is just being brought up in such a huge, major way. And I think with Neptune entering the same sign as Aries, right, it's kind of like culturally, maybe like the gears are shifting to like, what does it mean to remember that pain from a place of wisdom? And again, from maybe a place of teaching. I think of, the wounded healer.
Mm.
But Black folks, I will also say, on the other hand, are really tired of that,
Hmm.
as we've said. So I'm curious and I'm interested in, and maybe this is a Neptune like newness I cannot possibly fathom, what it will
Hmm.
look like to be respected and regarded as a people who have wisdom, who have dealt with this kind of
Hmm.
oppression, but to not feel like the onus or to not feel like it's onerous or like it carries weight or pressure. Is there a way
Hmm.
that we can carry that torch of wisdom in a way that feels like lighter or exciting or
Hmm.
empowering? So these are all larger existential questions. Yeah.
Yeah, that is very interesting. When I talk to my clients a lot of times, it's almost like the motivation underscoring why you do things is really important,
Yeah.
just, and so if I feel like you have to do it out of obligation,
Mm.
because that's your role. And similar to the way that we kind of aired our grievances out about, the complicated nature of like Tiana Taylor's role. And like, yeah, she's successful, but like, oh, she's still upholding a certain role. And
Yeah.
historically, it's still the same thing, right? Like you look to Black women to teach you, but then there's no respect that actually is given to really substantiate that respect. And so it kind of
Mm.
feels like it's fallen on deaf ears. But I'm hopeful that with Neptune and Saturn in Aries, it brings about new awareness and therefore it creates a new channel of respect. And, people feel more energized to want to say something or teach because it's not falling on deaf ears and it's actually getting
Yeah.
put to use. And yeah, so I don't know, I'm hopeful for more
Yeah.
awareness.
I love that as also thinking of Saturn as creating more authority around those voices and more seriousness.
Mm.
I'm also noticing this is a longer term transit, but Chiron right now in the sky is like forming a trine to the original Black History Month. Again, we're in the astrological like weeds. This isn't a natal chart we're looking at. We're looking at the beginning of a month of celebration. I know it's weird. That being said, the archetype of having Chiron forming an exact trine to like the Neptune of
Mm.
Black History Month, to me also kind of really showcases our superpower of responding to pain with joy, with
Hmm.
creativity, with cultivating some amount of like celebration. Honestly, I've also seen rhetoric kind of around like this isn't our fight, kind of like finding a way to persevere and quote unquote enjoy despite what is going on, which I know sounds charged and political, but it's really not. To
Hmm.
enjoy life when life is trying to like persecute you, like through these powers
Hmm.
that be. So I also see that kind of coming up, like how have Black people survived? Oh yeah, very Neptunian
Hmm.
Leo through celebration, through culture, through creativity. So I see that as also being like maybe a point of wisdom that is being
Mm.
drawn out now.
Yeah, no, that's really beautiful. I mean, oh, I had a thought. Oh, and it went away just like
Yes, it's
that.
very Mercury
Mercury
and
in
Pisces.
Pisces. Oh, actually, you know what? No, it is very Pisces. Haha, that actually was helpful. So I forget who I was watching. Oh my God, the algorithm has been so crazy recently. It's like there's too much information, but I think her account is like Nonsense Spirituality. And she's
Okay.
been doing these videos on what spirituality means, and it can be really confusing. And of course, when you think about Pisces and Saturn and Pisces, maybe there is this sense of like, how do we define
Mm,
spirituality at this moment in time? And what I'm trying to get at is in my reading recently about Pisces and the idea of ego and wholeness, there is still a need to have ego and wholeness at the same time, meaning you
mm,
have to be able to dissolve between both, but not because if you do too much of the other, then that's also like Jupiterian excess. But I think there's a beautiful reason why Jupiter and Neptune, they rule Pisces, because there is the idea that, yeah, like it's not saying don't take care of yourself and ignore and like focus on everyone else entirely or focus on everything else and don't take care of yourself.
yeah.
It's you have to strike that balance of both. And no one's saying you're going to also do it perfectly, but you want to feel at least you can swim between both. And I think that's the highest ethos of Pisces,
I
not the
think so
bubble.
too. Yeah,
So
that's beautiful. What I
Saturn and
hope,
Pisces.
yeah, what I hope when all these planets leave Pisces, so like Neptune has done it, Saturn will do it. the nodes will leave, all the planets will march through Pisces, is that we can like get out of performative spirituality and wellness and people can just
Mm.
anchor into what does it feel right for you? Because I
Mm-hmm.
often like advise my clients, because spirituality, we get like a vision in our mind of what that means. But my true down to earth version of spirituality is anything that puts you in flow, anything that just
Mm.
turns down the volume of the external world and allows you to tap in, which is so many things for so many people, you know what I mean? But Instagram and wellness culture will kind of trick you into like, no, it has to look this way or that way or cost this
Mm-hmm.
much, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Deepak Chopra, how dare you tell me how to be spiritual, like stuff like that. And so with things clearing Pisces and like the cultural kind of temperature moving elsewhere, maybe people will be able to glom onto a more personal and more intimate sense of what that has to look like instead of looking to leaders or social media for like what that has to look like. But I
Mm.
do love your point. Like it has to be half ego, half spirituality. Like you have to have your boots on the ground to keep your
Yeah.
heads in the clouds, right? It's kind of like that
Yeah.
discernment between both.
Yeah. What I was like gonna say, oh my God, I'm gonna be
This is gonna
struggling
happen a
through
lot,
this.
you guys.
I'm gonna be struggling through this Mercury and Pisces life. I'm not gonna lie. Just take your time
Go with the
and
flow.
it
It'll
will
flow
come.
right back.
It will
Yeah.
flow. Um, it admittedly was something I was thinking about recently, performative action,
Hmm.
in these Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Aries times. And I think that was like what I was like tr struggling to like try to ask you earlier, but I could not put the words to it. But just the idea of Saturn, Pisces, Neptune, and Aries, balsamic has such high vibrations of performative action. And so it can be very difficult to discern what's real. They really mean what they say. So don't form an opinion just yet. Oh my God, there's just such a heightened attachment in this culture towards, or there's such a desire for that type of spirituality, but it therefore becomes very easy to just like do, but not actually like really embody all the way.
Oh,
So.
totally, totally. And I'm seeing on the other end of that, it's such an interesting bind we find ourselves in, right? Because people are
Hmm.
also being punished for not speaking out. And so then you have these people who are just like putting it into their content, kind of not to lose followers, but also because they do kind of care, but they're doing it kind of haphazardly. It's a very interesting cultural moment around like activism and
Hmm.
allyship where people just feel so pressured internally and like putting that pressure externally for people to be doing something and saying something. But that
Hmm.
means then you get like bad actors or half-ass actors doing things that, just like, no. I don't
Yeah,
know. I'd rather have like a fully thought out thing than demand every single post be about ice. I'd rather have like a really intelligible and like illuminating take on it rather than like, I don't know, like a cosplayer just putting it randomly. And just I don't know. It just
yeah.
you're right. It's performative, but I also see the itch to want to talk about it because it's so major and big, right? What's happening right now. It's curious. I'll just say it's curious. It's an unsolvable problem. It feels
It
very
is
Neptune
unsolvable.
Saturn.
I mean, it is also interesting because obviously, we talked about the Grammys and like maybe I'll pull up the
Yeah.
Grammys chart or I'll pull up someone from the Grammys. Who do you want me to pull up? I have Bad Bunny, we
Bad
have
Bunny.
Kendrick. Okay. Because Super Bowl this weekend.
Because
Oh my God.
I was doing my Bad Bunny playlist while I was cleaning today. So,
I was gonna say, I love that we've like already like talked about it. It's just nice to come back and like, oh, hello, old friend. Um,
yeah.
but obviously the Grammys got quote unquote political. Okay. I feel like I need to put a question out, like what does being political mean to you? Like what
Yeah.
does it actually mean?
This is me channeling Mercury and Pisces. It's the feeling that someone else just confronted you with something. It just feels like political
Mm.
content is inherently something that triggers, provokes, or confronts, whether it's innocuous like hair or something big like ice. It's like whatever it is, it's something like it has edges and it gets into people's like it makes them question their morality, their principles. That's all of what politicking is to me.
Mm. That's very fair. That's
It's
very
a
fair.
feeling rather than a topic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. I think I looked up like the Merriam-Webster definition of it like recently, and it was like
A
this,
political? Yeah.
yeah, like the science of like organizing people. That is very interesting if I think about it in that lens, because if I am political, I am curious about how our society is structured. And if you
Yeah.
are not political, you are not as curious about how our society is structured. And I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty solid, like neutral but says a whole
Yeah.
lot at the
That's a
same
good
time.
way to say it. Like maybe politics is, whatever, just flowing. Like when it brings up a good group of people, when it talks about community, like I think to be
Hmm.
political is to inherently realize you live in a community or in a society.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Hmm.
an interesting way to put it. So things that affect your neighbor or your understanding of like who I am and who I'm amongst maybe has that political
Yes.
charge.
Like
Yeah.
obviously with ICE raids escalating, neighborism, right, is a term
Yeah.
that I've recently seen as like a how folks demonstrate love, I think is
Neighbor.
such a
Beautiful.
beautiful Uranus Gemini era we're walking
But
into.
also
It's
like some of the gifts of Jupiter and Cancer, like care for
hmm.
my neighbor. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I can't remember what time the Grammy started, LOL. But I think it was like around that time, close enough. The full moon was at 13 degrees. The full moon already happened, so this
Yeah.
might as well be the chart. This is Bad Bunny's chart. We don't know his time and we don't know his moon. He could either be an Aquarius moon or a Pisces moon, but either way, he has Aquarius or Pisces.
Yeah. Feels Pisces.
But
Listening to his
yes.
music, it gives Pisces moon. I wish I would have taken
Mhm.
more photos. Come
I Yeah. Mars, Saturn also though, like very
Yeah, very
time
true.
and reminiscent. So like there
You're
are
absolutely
elements in
right.
the chart. So,
Yeah.
but that moon is like caught again. So it's actually hilarious that we don't know the moon, but it's like in between Mars and Mercury.
It's like, yeah. It's a mystery. I love the Neptune on his Venus moment for just like creative
Mm.
ascendance, reaching a new level of importance in the zeitgeist. And he'll have
Hmm.
this major win, but then also the Super Bowl. I just think that's so astrology good for fame. Literally
Hmm.
fame. Yeah.
Truly his announcement as being the Super Bowl halftime performer, which obviously is coming up this week. This is the first time headlines and headlines is ahead of ahead of its week. That Mars Saturn also, I think he is quite well protected though.
Hmm.
And if anything, I think he is also very divinely
I
protected.
was gonna say
So,
that looks like spiritual protection. Yeah,
mhm.
ancestors and stuff.
I mean, Uranus also stationing on that South Node.
What do you think about that?
I think if you think about Venus and Aries ruling that South Node, like this is maybe not his first time being someone who like is an activist, right? Like there is activist like blood that runs through that. And
Yeah.
so when you think about the Uranus like awakening, it's like I'm ready to like really use that voice proper because he, I think, was the first artist of the night to come out and actively say ice out before he thanked God. And I think before that, Olivia Dean made, her speech about immigrants and Shabuzi talks about immigrants too. But Bad Bunny was the first to really like call ice out. And so
Yeah.
to me, that feels very Uranus, South Node, Venus, and Aries, and that Neptune, it was very divine.
Yeah. That also makes me think maybe when an experience of Uranus being on a Taurus South node means that something internally is being shaken up. And
Hmm.
by the impulse of Uranus pushing him into that North Node Pluto, which is like to speak up, to confront, right, to provoke something, using your
Hmm.
power to transform. But then the other side of Pluto is that makes you a target for violence. It makes you a target for like other people's nefariousness or their projections onto you. But I'm
Hmm.
seeing that story as like, Uranus being like, "Oh, we cannot hold this in anymore. We must like pop out and like address," and then like
Hmm.
flinging him over into that like Pluto North Node, which is like it's his promise to be in some way a bit of a revealer, a transformer in society through his music. But
Hmm.
yeah,
And you know what? Part of the gift of likability is you are going to always be protected by the people on some level too. Like the
hmm
fact that he, is such a global breakout star and this is the largest quote unquote stage. Like I don't know the exact stats about that, but like it's a pretty big entertainment stage in America. So like if you think about it, tomorrow is probably going to be the most watched Super Bowl show of all time. Like the transits just kind
yeah,
of feel so ripe for it, especially it's a Venus Uranus weekend. Like you're thinking about a breakthrough, you're thinking about like never before seen. Also, obviously, this album, Debí tirar más fotos, was the first full-length Spanish album to win Album of the Year. And he actually
yeah,
had gotten nominated for Un Verano Sin Ti. That was the first Spanish album to be nominated, but obviously this won. And when you think about the idea of substance, when you have Mars and Saturn conjunct in your in your chart, I do feel like the art has to carry some substance that
Yeah.
speaks to the lessons that for him during the Saturn return, like what was he learning?
Mm.
And I think he really does embody that notion of I've carved an ego out for myself, but I'm also concerned about the world. And
It's
you
very
can do
beautiful.
both.
That's gorgeous. I think of his Mercury in Aquarius for being like
Hmm.
a disruptor through language. So to
Mm,
have all these Spanish-speaking hits in a predominantly English-speaking country to me is like the role of Mercury in Aquarius. It's like I'm doing my message, but in a very unconventional way, given the constructs. And then Venus, it'll be on his Mercury during the Super Bowl performance, but kind of it was there
all
during the
the,
Grammys too. He was
yep.
in a Mercury return. I don't know, it just gives love. It just gives being adored. Even
Mm,
Neptune on Venus gives like I'm loved and I'm adored, especially by his people. But
hmm
just like even for what he's doing, like disrupting and doing something new and different, to me just feels like, yeah, we just love and need to see that right now. But I love that Mercury and
Totally.
Aquarius story as like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and speak Spanish here. You know what I mean? And still fucking win, bro.
Honestly, when you are so good at what you do, at a certain point, it becomes irrelevant. People are
Oh yeah.
like, you get to do what you want to do because you're so good at what you do. I think that's what Pharrell was trying to say, i.e., when did you catch that? Where he was like,
No.
oh
What's
my
the
God,
tea?
he was like, everyone needs to work. Everyone needs to work. He was like the Kim K, like,
What
me,
was he saying
insert
that
the
in
Kim
response to?
his speech, he was given
Okay.
like some honorary speech or something, so honorary award for like all that he's contributed, which is a lot. He is a creative like genius, but it was just so funny the ethos of he's like, you guys need to work. You guys have to work so that you can like get to live the life that I live. And it's like
Mm.
that feels very like a preview of the South Node in Leo, North Node in Aquarius. It's like, yes, Bad Bunny also probably worked very, very hard, but he's not saying like do this to do this so that you can live my life, right? It's like do this so that you can live your dreams or whatever.
Yeah.
And the messaging just, I think, got lost in the sauce a little bit. But like,
Yeah. He was
I
centering
can
himself. Yeah, in that way. Yeah.
yeah. And that's the thing with Neptune. You can't center. I mean, I'm speaking to the expert or the authority here. Like, you can't center yourself with Neptune,
No,
right?
you have to make it about the people. It has to be bigger than you for it to like even feel good in your body. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I just noticed too. I just looked at the chart for this. Well, it's not when the Super Bowl starts, but it's close. And I mean, either way, like hello, Scorpio moon at 14
I
degrees
was looking
on.
at that. I was like, oh, you're looking at that, aren't you? And I love that it'll by the end of the day, I think, or maybe into the next day, whatever, it will have
Hmm.
traveled over his North Node and Pluto. And I just think of the moon as like the people. So again,
Yeah.
like likely he's gonna make a political statement. Maybe the political
Hmm.
statement is just that he's there and doing the damn thing during these
Yeah.
times. But it does kind of make me anticipate some kind of like charge, emotional charge in the performance,
Hmm.
just like with Kendrick Lamar last year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's very interesting, right? Because 2025, obviously, album of the year went to Beyonce and Cowboy Carter. And then Kendrick obviously had that phenomenal performance. This year, Kendrick continues it a little bit. Maybe I'll pull up Kendrick's chart for one last. I'm like, LOL, is this the last time we're going to talk about
He is the
Kendrick?
homie, man. No, hopefully not. With
Or
like
at
a
least
movie coming out.
for this moment in time. I mean, J. Cole came out the album today and he was also highlighting Kendrick or calling Kendrick out
Oh
in
wow.
a very J. Cole way, you know?
Okay.
So I mean, I love the album Fall Off, very Saturn-Neptune coded, but
Mm.
you know, Kendrick is still obviously relevant this year with Jupiter on his Mars. I
Yeah,
mean,
Jupiter in the 10th is just gonna be a big time for you in your career. You're just going to be noticed.
Kendrick was the halftime performer last year. Benny, like these, sure, may seem like arbitrary events that like are happening in Feb, right? But it is during Aquarius season. There is something to be said about the collective and the community. And these are the first 2 years really with Pluto and Aquarius like in full power. It's not dipping back and forth. And so you see what is culture showing us in the wash. We're getting
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar. We're getting Bad Bunny. Like
Yeah.
culture is always going to show us the way.
Yeah, people seeing this as like random synchronicity, that's odd to me. There's something so intentional, whether it was, meant to be intentional about like these two performers happening during this presidential term. Yeah, it just
Hmm.
feels very Pluto and Aquarius, like the people are demanding or they want to see something else, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's a larger story always being told here.
Absolutely. Any final words about Kendrick, his win, his, I guess, because he won for Luther, which,
Yeah.
oh my God, I didn't pull up Luther's chart, but Luther's chart
I think
posthumous
it's
action.
funny. Yeah, his posthumous like activation like being brought
Yes.
up. I think it's funny that he won in a very retrograde fashion. Jupiter's retrograde, right? Cher just said Luther Vandross, and Kendrick was like, I guess that's me. It feels very like a retrograde flub, and Chiron just being on his Jupiter as well. I'm curious how he took the situation. He probably took it with pride, but it was kind of like a moment of like, no, it's Kendrick Lamar. It's not. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just feels Chiron, Jupiterian, and very retrograde. Like you won, but like, did you win? I
Yeah.
don't
That's
know.
hilarious. It's so funny because when I looked at Luther's chart, I'm like, yeah, Luther Vandross did win,
Yeah, please
actually.
pull that up. I feel like I glanced at it. I was like,
Oh my gosh.
wasn't there
Yeah,
like a
hold on.
nodal activation happening?
Yes, hold on. I'm gonna pull up his birth because I had it on my phone. I hate this is the one thing. Astro Gold, I love you very much, but I would like the iPhone to sync with the Astro Gold on my Mac.
That would be awesome because I just have a totally different collection of charts on my phone.
It's like,
Please listen to us.
friends, please. If you
Please
okay.
sync them up.
Where was he born? New Jersey. New Jersey? Where in New Jersey? I'm gonna just put Jersey City, which I know is not where he was born,
It's okay.
but
It's fair. We'll get close enough.
Jersey, because we don't know his time anyway. But
Yeah, it's the notes that I was looking at. That's such a posthumous kind
yeah.
of like your vapors, your ethers are just kind of being brought down into the collective.
Oh my God. I mean, like, it is actually kind of crazy. Like, the fact that Saturn was on his like Jupiter 29 degrees, like, you
Oh
think about
boy.
like that
Yeah.
ultimate, he stood the test of time. Like, this is your gift, your
Yeah.
reward. And then you also have like the Leo full moon on his like Pluto in Leo. I'm
Yeah,
just
what a
like,
testament to legacy. That's a good point. Yeah.
holy cow, friend.
Like you're
Like,
not dead and you will never die. Yeah. You are immortalized. That's what that feels like.
but that's
It's
the
also very
thing.
Piscean for it to be like in spirit.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I'm like, LOL, the way I'm like now looking at that North Node in Pisces, like maybe you don't get your flowers on this earth, you get them like after you're gone, you
Or
know?
like you continue getting them, right? It's just like
Mm,
Pisces, where does it end? Your soul is like continually flowering forward no matter where you are. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's such an abundant way of thinking about it. The idea that, yeah, the soul really is immortal. So, like,
Mm,
as much as there is not enough time, there is a lot of time because it just picks up
totally.
from where you left off.
Yeah. Nothing ever really ends. Sorry, guys. I'm just kidding.
Except,
It changes, but
oh
it
my
never
God,
ends.
I appreciate you bringing that up because Pharrell is also getting sued by the by his partner from the Neptunes.
Oh. Okay, what is Neptune doing in his chart?
I
That's
know, I
too
need to just
funny.
look up for
Oh my God.
oh my gosh, Pharrell Williams natal chart. I am fucking crying. But no, when I saw that happen, the thing is, it's not new. Like I remember reading about it last year during the Venus retrograde,
Okay, that makes
Mercury
sense.
retrograde story, but then like nothing had happened at the time. Raw, oh, C chart. Okay, not bad. And he was born in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Is this his partner of his production
No,
partner
this
for the
is, oh
Neptunes?
yeah, Hugo.
So
But
what's the allegation?
that he basically didn't pay him his like fair share of royalties
Okay.
through their creative process together, which is fair.
That's not the first time I've heard that about Pharrell.
Yeah. So where are you saying where's Neptune? Oh, Neptune in Stag.
Yeah,
My
I was just
Mercury in
curious.
Pisces. Mercury in
Ah.
Pisces.
There it is. Okay, I was like, maybe it's the trine from Sun to Neptune. I was like, something about identifying with Neptune. I was looking for that in the chart to make sense of
Mm-hmm.
like calling your duo the Neptunes. He
Mm-hmm.
is also born Virginia Beach, like in that Hampton area. I have a good friend down there, and there's like a statue of Neptune, just like because they're by the water.
Oh
So I
no
wonder if he
way.
took, yeah, inspiration from that. But it's like very Neptunian to call yourself the Neptunes and also to be from a beach.
That's amazing. Honestly, I like this 11 a.m. time because that puts Pisces at the midheaven and
Yeah.
Saturn on it at the Grammys, and he got an
Yeah.
award for like lifetime achievement or like some type of honorary award. So that feels cute, but also
It
makes a
also
lot of
feels stupider
sense.
on the ascendant, right? Getting an award, getting
Yes.
amplified. Yeah.
Totally. But I was gonna say it makes a lot of sense too with like the whole work thing now, you know? Like if you have Saturn on your midheaven and like you're speaking at the on the platform, like you're probably gonna be talking about work and like
Yeah, because
make
it's about the fruits of your labor. Yeah, with Saturn there.
Oh, also Mars Return.
Mars Return.
Oh.
Yeah. Cute. That happened when Beyonce was awarded last year with Album of the Year. So there's something
Mm,
about the Mars Return that can cement a kind of victory and then also a new cycle.
yeah. What do you make of this full moon stellium, right? Like this Aquarius stellium. The fact that you've
Hmm.
got like Venus and Mercury on the morning star side of the sun, and then you've got
Yeah.
Mars and Pluto on like this balsamic side. Like I'm mixing terminology here, but you get what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say, right? Like fresh and then old. Like what do you make of the combination of those planets around the sun as part of this full moon?
For Pharrell specifically or just in general?
Just in general.
I feel the Mars Pluto as like the weight of what the
Mm,
collective is trying to bring about. When I think of Mars and Pluto, I think of like dealings in the dark, shadowy figures, like the corrupt power. And then I
hmm
think on the other side, a more bright Mercury, a more bright Venus is like coming together with community, sharing messages of hope and support and activism. But
mm,
again, it's informed by again the heavier anchor. I think of like Pluto, just being
hmm
co-present the sun, but also Mars activating those Plutonian stories.
Love that. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. How are we doing on time right now? Oh, we are Gabby, Gabby, Gabby. So what I am going to suggest is we were planning on talking about the Olympics, which, we had the opening ceremony today. So again, we'll be on brand and ahead of time. But then I was going to ask if you also wanted to cover naturally like the Savannah Guthrie? Is that
Let's look at
her?
it as a
Okay.
person who enjoys true crime from time to time. I mean, what intrigue and like what is the angle here? I'm curious.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you know what? Maybe we do Savannah, this situation, because it's a sad situation, and then we wrap up with the Olympics because that's
Okay,
a
cute. Let's
happier
do that.
situation. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is allegedly the doorbell camera disconnects at 1:47 a.m. So
Okay.
that was the time I thought could be interesting in
Oh,
this
that's a good time.
context. So Scorpio rising.
That pile up in the fourth and right, so the idea that I'm getting is like she was napped from home, she was kidnapped, she was taken, which makes sense with
hmm
Mars absconding with something in the middle of the night.
hmm
That makes a lot of sense. I was also thinking from the perspective of Savannah, like this is her mom, and always I think a full moon is going to bring up family problems. I think always the full moon can bring up issues
mm
around mom and the fact that this is like a scandal now, like very Leo moon, it's in the media, it's in the spotlight. But there is something, allegedly, if this is true, if this is what has happened to her, and I hope she's okay, that Mars in the fourth with Pluto. Like, is there a power play? Like, apparently there was a ransom. That feels very Mars Pluto in the fourth to just be taken in the middle of the night.
For people who like aren't familiar, the TLDR is Savannah Guthrie. I'm so sorry if this is not the way you pronounce her name, but she is a NBC
I
correspondent
think Today
on
Show, is she
Today's
on the Today
Show.
Show?
Thank
Yeah.
you. Today's Show, her mom has been quote unquote abducted, kidnapped. She's disappeared in the middle of the night, and people reported that because she did not show up to church Sunday morning. And so
Ah,
this has been an ongoing thing since basically the full moon in Leo. So this happened Saturday into the full moon in Leo. And then, well, she was supposed to go to the Olympics to cover it. She could not, obviously. And then yesterday, I believe, 5 p.m. Was the first deadline for the ransom, and they blew past that first deadline. So
okay.
there's been a lot about the siblings like getting on camera,
Yeah.
directly trying to talk to the kidnappers, but there hasn't been any like anything else I've heard
Okay.
from the other end. So I don't really know what's the latest here, but
Yeah.
people have posted the timeline of like the series of events at
As
least.
as we are recording, she has not been found. This is still ongoing. Oh
This
my
is still
gosh.
ongoing, I believe. Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
I have hope that she will come back or like something happens over the weekend because of
Yeah, you
Venus
said Venus
Uranus, you
Square.
know?
Yeah, yeah, like
Yeah.
suddenly reappearing, or this is a story. Yeah.
Oh, wait, live update as of 6:33 p.m. Officials say they're investigating new message regarding Nancy. No suspect has been identified during the investigation. Yada 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 yada. Nancy is 84 years old. Okay, so I was correct. There was a deadline of 5 p.m. yesterday, and Guthrie's son, Cameron Guthrie, asked to speak to whoever is out there holding our mother, saying the family wants to talk and is waiting for contact. There's a lead about a vehicle or
Hmm.
vehicles after
Hmm.
receiving a tip regarding a vehicle of interest, but that is about it, basically.
Wow. I
hmm
mean, the astrology between Savannah, Guthrie, and like what's happening in the ethers, like she has this
Hmm.
Venus in Aquarius getting visited by Pluto. She has
Oh.
the North Node in Aquarius, which is like that's the eclipse axis that's about to get like heated up. We don't
Hmm.
know, I guess, if she has Moon in Taurus, although I would guess that she does with Venus ruling that moon and getting hit by Pluto on her
Yeah.
Venus and on her North Node. So yeah, that is just like really striking for matters of the home. I think of squares as having to take unexpected pivots as well. So this
Mm.
is my campaign for Savannah Guthrie as like a Taurus moon, and it makes sense. She's been like a long time anchor, like that stability there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, holy moly, it's an exact Uranus return for Savannah's mom then, if she's 84,
Hmm.
right?
Exactly.
It's like,
Exactly. And
whoa.
Uranus awoke. And here's the thing. If there is a lot of speculation in the comment section, because this is such a winning time for conspiracy theorists. So why
Sure.
not? Why
Yeah.
not look into
Hmm.
this? They're calling for an inside job. They're saying the call came from within the family.
Okay. Can I put my tinfoil hat on for a sec?
Of course, it's a
I
winning
just,
time.
I'm sorry, we're gonna kidnap Savannah Guthrie's mom. Is she like a bajillionaire? Like, what, it's just, I'm questioning like, of all the people. I mean, Savannah herself might have more money than her mom. It does seem odd. So my little tinfoil brain is like, yeah, maybe it is an inside job or this is some kind of like PR. I don't know. People are so odd and strange.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I also want that to be because then it means her mom's okay. Maybe,
Yeah.
hopefully. That's
Yeah.
the like the most what I want, but gosh, I guess we'll see how it all unfolds. I hope by the next time we meet Ish that we'll have some plot developments.
Yeah. I love the way when you said like I don't know what episode we're on, I was gonna say we're like 10-ish.
I don't know, yeah. Somewhere in the double digits Ish.
Okay, so we have the Olympics. I'm like, I don't know what chart to pull. Maybe I'll pull up today's chart because
Okay.
it's the opening ceremony today. So
Yeah.
this could be a pretty good like
Where are the Olympics right
representation.
now?
They're in Milan and
Cute.
Cortino, but the
Okay.
opening ceremony was in Milan. So maybe let me edit that 8 p.m. Milan time.
I saw
Milan
Mariah
is,
Carey's opening
y-
performance and her hangout
yeah.
that people are
You
speculating was not live.
No, I watched it before a client session, LOL, and I was like, wait, she looks like she's dead between her eyes. Like she looks like she's not present. And then all of a sudden the
Yeah,
high
like
note
not
came
there.
out.
Yeah, just like as a singer, I mean, I'm not Mariah Carey level, but I do know that your body has to be involved to hit that kind of shit. To
Yeah. I
hit
mean,
that note, she was just like, maybe she's a professional. Again, who knows? Fuck me, I don't know. But
honestly,
it's just like, damn, you're singing that really easy.
if she had like showed up as like AI, like a video on IG, I've been like, is this AI or is this real? Because that is like how
Yeah.
manufactured it looked. This is so Saturn, Neptune, right? Saturn, Pisces, Neptune, and Aries. It's like I know the voice is there, but I'm not
Yes.
really seeing, and it's not
Yeah.
there. It's not
Yeah.
there. But anywho, this is alleged, well, not allegedly, but this is the chart of the opening ceremony. Now, I don't really know how this works because technically, like, there were a couple of events that already started, like yesterday,
Mhm.
like ice hockey that has already been getting hit with norovirus, which is
Yikes.
hilarious because, Saturn and Neptune balsamic
Yes.
times have been oft associated with plagues, illnesses,
Hmm.
yada, yada, yada. So,
Things spreading. Yeah.
yeah, and the fact that we've got another Mercury retrograde in Pisces starting retrograde next week.
Yeah.
This is
That gives
norovirus.
sniffles. Yeah.
Oh my God. Like there's
It
gonna be
gives liquid
more.
coming out of your face
Ew.
orifices. Yeah.
There is literally, oh my God, girl, there is like a sauna festival that's opening in Williamsburg during this retrograde.
Oh
And
no.
I'm
That's gonna
like,
be ground zero for some next pandemic.
oh my God. And with the fact that the ice refuses to melt in New York and there's just a bunch of pee and poo, this is
Same.
biohazard,
It's disgusting. Yeah.
but
And
it's
with
just
like
gonna be
Jupiter
disgusting.
retrograde also, like it's not answering to a very empowered Jupiter yet. So that
Yeah.
too feels like not great. But
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Mm-mm. But is there anything that you can interpret from this Olympics chart?
Yeah, that much Aquarius in the sky makes me think about like unprecedented winds or
Mm.
record-breaking stuff happening. Just how Aquarius always pulls out like that which is the most unconventional. I was also talking with you before we hit record about how like Sun and Pluto and Mars together, or like Sun is illuminating, and Mars and Pluto really does give like elite athletics, like
Mm,
really being intense and focused about your sport to the point where you can like make it to the Olympics, obviously. So I think
hmm
that's an interesting like symbolic highlight that's happening now. Virgo rising, like this is a demonstration of skill. And with Mercury at that Antarctic degree of Aquarius, it's like exceptional skill, out of this
mm.
world type shit. Like how do you move your body? Like how do you even like prepare for this? That's kind of the vibe that this is giving me. So I can't wait to see like what highlights come out of it.
Yeah, it's I think this is the largest United States Winter Olympics team that we've ever
Okay.
sent also.
Okay, Jupiter
And
return
oh my
for
God,
us.
yeah, that's so right. And all, of course, all this Aquarius is on like the United States moon and
Mm.
natal Pluto. Like, wow, yeah. So this should be a pretty interesting one for the United States, I would imagine. Obviously, JD Vance led the congregation today, but
Okay.
Erin Jackson, she is the first Black athlete to carry the flag in the Winter Olympics. She's a speed skater, so she was the flag bearer this Olympics. And over the summer, we had Coco Gauff and LeBron, right? Like they were the flag bearers for Team USA. So
This
we're
is so
continuing.
interesting. This is like such mixed messages. Like, because I was
Totally.
thinking about it, like, obviously I want to root for America, but I don't, like right now.
It's a tough time.
It's
It's
a
a tough
tough time to
time.
be patriotic. It's a tough time to want to like be like rah rah America. But it's also interesting that you have all these like symbolic wins or firsts, but it's like in the backdrop of like all the stuff that's happening in America. It's very Jupiter return coded, like in the background,
Mm-hmm.
while the Aquarius is trying to like emerge with something new. But it's
Mm-hmm.
given like whiplash. JD Vance, first Black woman. What?
They're there together all at once. And I mean, at some level, like this is America as it is right now.
It is
It is a
chaotic.
perfect representation because you
Yes.
have the rise of a whole new generation and representation and leadership. And then you also have the existing leadership. It's very alpha, omega, ending
Wild.
and
Yeah.
beginning all happening at once.
Very
But
true.
also embedded in the Olympics itself was controversy with the Haitian team. I don't know if you saw
Oh,
this, but
no. What happened?
the so every team had like these designer like jackets or outfits to like represent your country
Yeah.
in the walkout. And the Haitian team basically had a revolutionary painting. They were banned by the IOC from actually
Okay.
wearing, and
Mm.
so they basically had to like redo it within a month, and they got the uniforms delivered 2 days before the opening ceremony. So at the full moon in Cancer, they officially got word you cannot use this.
For
Um,
why?
oh, because it has, let me like make sure I'm not butchering the name, but he was the man who led the Haitian Revolution. It was
Yeah,
like,
Toussaint Louverture. Yeah.
yes, thank you.
It's my
He,
older brother's name. I have to know that. It
oh,
was
that's
named after him. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Isn't it?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay, great. Yes. So there's this very famous painting of him,
Okay.
and
Yes.
he's
Yeah.
on a horse with the
Yes.
snake. So basically, they try to put that painting onto the outfit, and IOC said, no, that's a political statement. So you have to
Okay.
remove that. And so Stella Jean, she is half Italian, half Haitian. She is like, I think the only Black Italian designer to show at like Milan Fashion Week or something,
Mm.
still. And she basically redid it and they just removed Louis.
Okay. Interesting. First, it's very Libra moon coded to
Hmm
have like fashion and presentation be so much a part of the opening ceremony, but it's forming a trine, right, to that Aquarius stellium. So it's like how to be
hmm
revolutionary with fashion. And I'm
hmm
sad to hear that it was censored in that way.
But she did make a really beautiful counterpoint. More people are
Mm.
talking about it than it would
Amen.
if it were there. And so
There you
the
go.
spirit of the revolution, and she actually said something really great. I want to give her the quote. Once again, Haiti found a solution through something that no crisis, no embargo, no civil war can ever take away. Its art, its creativity. Invoking the legacy of Louverture, who helped defeat European powers and pave the way for Haitian independence, she described the outcome as a story of resistance.
Period. Amen.
hmm hmm
Don't need to add anything else.
Incredible. Art's important, you guys.
Yep.
And so therefore, when you go back to what, the idea of performative, what's
Mm.
political these days, right? Like there is the idea that the role of the artist is political. It is important. You have a platform, you have something to say. It is
Yeah.
important.
That's also very Venus in Aquarius. Like I know this transit is coming to an end, but I think it can symbolize like the way that fashion and presentation and aesthetic can also be like political or commenting
Hmm.
on community or commenting on society. As someone who has Venus in Aquarius, like my favorite kind of t-shirt is like a t-shirt that says like, I don't know, immigration makes America great, but it's also cute and like fitted. I was like, yeah, that feels very Venus in Aquarius. To
Yeah.
speak something, right? To speak your mind, to have a point of view, to think about your community and culture, but to put it through aesthetic, fashion.
Absolutely. But obviously, the Olympics are about these like amazing, amazing athletes. And actually, I forgot to even mention the opening ceremony theme is harmony or harmonia, LOL.
Okay.
And like it's like a very big call for peace. Like it literally opened with like angels. And there was this symbolic gesture of invoking no wars during this 7-week period of the Olympics and the Paralympics. But
Okay.
LOL, Ukraine fighting like blew a hole through that one within the first day of it. So we
It's
don't
also
really.
very Libra moon. Like, can we just have peace?
But what does
Sorry,
that
like the
mean?
world is happening. I mean, it's a great gesture. Obviously, I love it. It's also very Piscean, like the angel wings. I think that's gorgeous. But
Hmm.
yeah, the conflicts continue.
But also, oh my God, I forgot one more thing. LOL, the way I just like watched the shit out of this opening ceremony earlier, Charlize Theron came on at the end
Okay.
or not at the end, but she came on to deliver a speech on behalf, like from Nelson Mandela about peace. It's
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm like, this is exactly
Oh, it's
Saturn
because
in
she's South
Pisces
African.
and
Okay.
Neptune in Aries in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh, I just cannot wait for Saturn to move into Aries. Like, I
Yeah,
loved
let's get
you.
the white person from Africa to talk about this black guy from Africa. Okay. I mean, I'm sure the intentions were there, but again, it's just like what is the story underneath that is being perpetuated by this? As we were
Hmm.
talking about with Tiana Taylor. What does it
Hmm.
mean, right, for Charlize Theron to be Theron is actually the name of my other brother. So that's so funny for me today. I had to say Anna Theron.
Oh, look at that Mercury
Isn't that funny?
Pisces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like what's underneath of it? Is it, I know it's a goodwill gesture, but what is it
Hmm.
reinforcing just through its optics? Mercury Pisces.
Mercury Pisces life. But I have the chart of Laila Edwards, who is one of the breakout stars of this year's Olympic team. She is from Cleveland Heights. She is the first Black woman on the U.S. national hockey winter team. And also she's got the support of the Kelsey brothers, who
Okay, cool.
basically shouted her out like back in 2023 even. So like they've been on the hype train for a bit as well. So she's one to watch.
I love that for her. Yeah, Pluto on her sun, so like ascendance, a new kind of power. I also think of Mars hitting her natal Neptune for like you're at the most glamorized and televised sporting event that you could possibly be at. Maybe underneath the other Summer Olympics, the Winter Olympics, right? Is that? So that
Yeah.
feels very astrology good.
It could be interesting to think of her as a very late degree Pisces moon with Saturn on that right now, like really delivering some reward for hard work.
Gifts. Yeah.
She is a trailblazer, very Mars and Aries also. Love that for
Yeah. And
her.
Chiron hitting that Mars in Aries, so it's like bigger than her, or it's alleviating or addressing some hurt of like non-exclusion to be the first Black person in a space.
Also, wow, I didn't realize that full moon in Leo hit her nodal axis and that Neptune. Neptune getting shouted out.
Yes. Look how that's so nice.
That's cute. Well, obviously, I don't actually know when she's playing next. Again, I hope she does not contract norovirus because that is not going through Team USA. It's going through Team Canada and Finland right now. But the Olympic Village is small,
Of
So
course.
hopefully Layla is chill. But you know who's not chill? LOL, Lindsey Vonn.
Mm, just
Because
on that torn ACL. Just
are we
showing up.
she's so Mars cap. That is a Jupiter Mars cap person.
Let me
Like
see. Where is that? Yes, just like
pain
going. There is no
Pain is
limit.
nothing. I think her
Yes,
chart's
yes.
A-rated too, so we
It
actually do have
is.
her time. Yep.
Yeah.
Is she
Yeah, so
gonna
that Mars, Jupiter, but also Mars, Pluto, and her sixth house for like the extremes you go to for your sport, for your
I
skill.
I mean, Uranus on the North Node. She's pushing her body to the limit, I
Yeah.
guess, opposing Venus. Like, I don't know what to make of it. Like, I don't know. Like,
It's worrisome. Yeah.
it, I'm hoping it like means like she's meant to be that resilient or she's meant to like
Mhm.
show that impossible is nothing. She is like, what is she, 40? 43? Am I doing
Nice.
my math? Yeah. Or no,
Yeah.
42.
She's about to be in her Uranus opposition.
Opposition. And like it's gonna hit Chiron. I'm just like, I'm so
Yeah, it's gonna hit
nervous for
Chiron, it's gonna
her.
square the ascendant. So that's so body related. It's
Ah,
also, I guess it's not. It's in Mercury sign, I guess. Like Gemini and
yeah.
Mercury also rules her ascendant, but Uranus won't be making an aspect to Mercury. But it is worrisome. But there's also a quality of Uranus on the North Node, which is like, just broke this glass ceiling. I just did this thing at this age with this injury, and I'm the only one who's ever gonna do it.
I don't know if on some level that's what she's supposed to leave behind.
Yeah.
LOL, because the Venus, Saturn, Pluto, Mercury in the third house. Like, what are we trying to prove
Yeah, there's a kind of
here?
intensity with that Scorpio stellium. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, either way, I'd be like, yeah, this would be your last. So I guess depends on how much bone or leg you want to like leave,
Yeah. And she's also
with.
in her Pluto square. So you get the
Yeah.
hard goodbye, or
Oh
like
my
you're
God,
not letting
yeah.
something die easily, and then it might show up in your body later. Sixth house.
Yeah.
If she came to me and she was like, Camille, should I do this thing on a torn ACL? And I saw Mars, Pluto in the sixth. I was like, girl, sit your ass down. No, it's not the time. Maybe you train and come back later, do it at an even older age. But that just seems strikingly bad.
Yeah, yeah, but T's and P's. One of the other funny things actually about this Olympics is penis gate,
Yes, yes.
which I was trying to think like where is the symbolism? And I'm like, that is so Mars Pluto
There it
coded.
is, girl. Mars Pluto. I was also thinking like, is there a Mars Jupiter thing? No, but it's very Mars Pluto. Like the show of power around like your male manhood. Like your male your fetus. Okay, I said it. Yeah.
Like again, in case people don't know, there are skiers who are currently getting investigated because they allegedly inject their dicks with hyaluronic acid so that
Yeah,
they
to make
can
it plump.
swell, so
Hmm.
that you can have a little more surface area in your crotch, so you can get a bigger suit. Because if you are long jumping, skiing, whatever they're doing, and they're trying to catch maximum hang time, so a bigger suit catches more air, it slows down. So there's this whole science behind it. But anyway, this is.
LOL hang time. Yeah. It's interesting that that whole thing focuses itself like in the penis region, like just to get a bigger suit. Aren't there like many other ways that you can get? I don't know. It's
Maybe the
just
least
funny.
obvious,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
maybe.
incredible. But yeah, I mean, the Olympics happening during this eclipse season, during Mercury and Pisces, there is going to be some
Snafus.
crazy shit. I mean,
Yeah.
the date you're going to want to obviously pay attention to, Feb 12th, 13th, when Saturn moves into Aries. That's going to be a crazy day. I think there's like the men's free skate that day
Oh,
personally
okay.
with the quad god doing a
Uh,
quadruple whatever Ilya.
yeah.
But yeah, that day is definitely one you're going to want to, honestly, like that week of
Yeah,
Feb
then we have an
17th.
eclipse. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Feb
17th.
17th, that week is going to be major. So will be interesting.
Yeah, we will we will be back to see what happened.
Like what? Ish.
Ish.
All
Ish.
right. Well, thanks everyone for coming back. We will be back more regularly, so not as
Hmm.
prolonged of a break, but still on the ish because shit
Yes.
is overwhelming and we're
Yeah.
just doing our best.
Yeah, and Mercury's about to be retrograde in Pisces, so we're just humble stewards of the stars. It's just not going to be straightforward. It's going to be ish.
It's gonna be ish.